Well, we bought a big old lot of cards, and it had you'll see the pile of cards here. It had a bunch of random stuff in it, and there's a few things that looked interesting to me, and so I thought, hey, you know what, I'll make a video out of it, and I like sorting through cards. So here's what we've got. There's a bunch of box and a half of inserts and rookies that came out of there, but not too much noteworthy in those boxes, but we'll go through the ones that I thought were noteworthy. And we'll see if the $150 price tag that I paid for all of this was worth it or not. Hall of Famers. So these are the SO cards from the 80s. They don't carry a ton of value, but here are 6 Ken Drydens. We've got Guy Lafleur, Gordie Howe, just a beauty card there. Jean Beliveau, Mario Lemieux, and Mark Messier, a bunch of Hall of Famers there. And then we get into the New York Islanders. This is from, doesn't have the cup in the picture, but it would have been right around when they were winning a bunch of cups in the 80s there, but some Hall of Famers in this photo. We've got Jean Rattel. This is from 72-73, great Hall of Famer there. Flipped 1-for-1 for, is it Esposito, if I'm not mistaken? You'll see it on the screen what that trade was. Then Rod Gilbert, Daryl Sittler on the Leafs there. This one's from 1978-79 series. There's the Vachon Guy Lafleur, big flow on him there. We got Frank Mahovlich, the 72 Summit series. I'm assuming this was 1972. Ken Dryden once again there, really nice card. There's Ken Dryden again with Tony Esposito, the goals against average leaders for 72-73. And then upside down here, we've got Steve Shutt, Guy Lafleur, and Marcel Dion for the goals leaders from 76 and 77. Back here, we've got the Rangers, Phil Esposito. That's a pretty sick card from 77-78. And then Guy Lafleur to finish it off. Just an unreal card here of Guy Lafleur. A little beat up, but hey, you know what? For $150 for a bunch of cards here, I think we're doing all right. Some random stuff here that was like noteworthy, but like not crazy. This is the gold parallel of Felix Potvin there, Tops. This is from the 90s, so the junk wax era, the 92. But Potvin has a good fan base in and around the game. These ones I'm really curious about. So there's a green Vladimir Malakov and a red Chris Beach. And everything I've read about them is that the red is out of 100, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 100. But there's no numbering on this one. Like usually the numbering would be right down here. So I'm not sure where these reds came from. And then there's a green here. And supposedly these are supposed to be numbered at 10, but there's no numbering. So I'm very curious about what parallel this is. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. Then we've got an artist proof here of Benoit Lefebvre. Is it Benoit? Sylvain Lefebvre. But these are really cool cards, kind of coveted in the hobby, but just not a big name. And then these are the red Star Quests, very popular in the hobby too. This is of Keith Kachuk, so a tougher to find parallel of the Star Quests from the late 90s there, UD Choice. Then we've got one of the early days of the Young Guns. This might be the first year of the Young Guns, if I'm not mistaken. And this is Steve Reinprecht on the Young Guns, so not a crazy name, but still cool to get one of the earliest ever Young Guns. And here we've got a true rookie card of Megan Augusta. So a women's hockey card, someone who played some prominent minutes for Canada at the Olympics. But that is her first ever card, her first time appearing on a playing card. And here we've got a puzzle piece of Connor McDavid. So on the back it is Jacob Trouba, but the puzzle has a piece of McDavid there. And then we've got Crosby here. You can see by the name, it's the middle bottom piece of Crosby with Holtby on the back. Kind of funny to get a rival of be on the back of a rival's card with Holtby. But here we've got something interesting. So these are 4 Bill Barilkos, and I remember having a ton of these as a kid. I didn't think much of them. On the back, you'll see the end of The Innocents. So the Tragically Hip wrote a song about Bill Barilko. He scored the Stanley Cup winning goal, and then he disappeared, and his body was found. So they didn't win another cup until 1962, the year his body was found. What year? Yeah, 1951. So they had a drought the whole time when Bill Barilko was missing, and they found the wreckage of his plane crash in 1961, and then they won the cup again that year. So they call it the I guess kind of a curse of Bill Barilko. But these are junk, like the junkiest of junk wax era pro set. But for some reason, apparently these have kind of caught on in terms of popularity because of the story of Bill Barocco and these being the only cards. But one of those is also the French version of those cards. So just random interesting things out of that. And here we've got a couple of just notable names. So there's Ovechkin. I think it's his third-year card. Nothing too crazy there. We got McDavid from Timmy's. We got some inserts and vintage of Gretzky. So here's CC5 from the Pro Set era of Gretzky. Here's the Art Ross Trophy from 83, 84. Really nice looking card there in great condition. We got a couple of acetates from McDonald's. These aren't crazy, but I like getting the acetates of the legends. So there's Gretzky and a couple more there. And then a cool Upper Deck Retro insert of his final game. Again, from McDonald's there. Along with that, I was able to pull out all the Gretzkys, and there was a huge stack of Gretzkys here. So just a bunch of Gretzky cards that came out of this haul, which is always nice to add the great one to the collection. Then we had a good stack of random vintage here. Whiting, McCrimmon, Parise, Riseborough, Ed Westfall, Pete Mahovlich, Eddie Westfall again, Jean Bonovo, Bert Marshall, Murray Hall, Chuck Arneson, and Jocelyn Gouvremont. Nothing crazy there. We had a bunch of really interesting Hall of Famer inserts. So here is still in the wrapping Mario Lemieux from Kellogg's. We've got Bork still in the wrapping from Post. These are all from the 90s. Another Bork from Post. There's Korea again in the wrapping Post. There's a nice Patrick Roy, CC2 on the French version of that Pro Set insert. We got some nice canvas here. There's Stamkos. There's Patty Kane. Some golds here from Fleer Ultra in the 90s. There's Hall of Famer Sergei Zubov and Hall of Famer Joe Mullen. Very nice. There's Ilya Kovalchuk on the team leaders for Atlanta there. That's really cool. The now defunct Thrashers. We've got retro of Victor Hedman. We've got super snipers of Jaromir Jagr. We've got a cool Players Club parallel of Brendan Shanahan on St. Louis. A nice blue border of David Pasternak. A couple of blues here. We've got Bure twice. We've got Joe Thornton twice. Those being pretty early in Joe Thornton's career there, still on Boston. Dave Keon in the reprint sets. Pierre Pilote from that same set. Brett Hall on CC6 there. So these are kind of inserts in the Pro Set. We got Marcel Dion on the short prints legends from the Canadian Tire o-pee-chee series there, coast to coast. Nice Dominic Hasek. This is the two-time Pearson Award winner parallel. It's kind of a parallel of Magic Moments. And then this one's Sundin, and they change out the team depending on, I think it has to do with a rarity. But this rarity is the versus Ottawa. You crash the game. CC22 on the back there. And then more from Kellogg's and Lemieux. These ones aren't in their cellophane, so out of their cellophane. Then here's a Players Club parallel of scorer Brett Hall. It's a nice one there. We got a nice from McDonald's here. This is 0506, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I remember opening a ton of this when I was a kid. But there's the goalie factory of Brodeur. I think the same year, same year. Top scorers of Joe Sakic insert. A little earlier, 2001, Patrick Roy there with the cool meshing. I love these cards where it looks like the goalie's glove. These are from, what are they, Kraft? Yeah, Kraft Dinner had cards way back in the 90s. So there's Jaromir Jagr, Pat LaFontaine, Adam Oates. And then Jello had the same thing. There's Adam Oates, Joe Sakic, Jeremy Roenick, Mike Medano, and Joe Sakic once again. So just some really cool cards of Hall of Famers that, or future Hall of Famers too, that I pulled out that had a little bit of value to them in a sense. These ones I won't go through all of them, but it's all the McDonald's clear cuts of Hall of Famers. I love the acetate cards. So these all are the acetate see-through cards, and these are all Hall of Famers. You can see eyes are made on the front there. Solani, Correa, Shanahan, Bure, just some really nice clear cuts, or acetates is the better term for them. And then here we've got some random stuff. I'll go through these quick because they're They're kind of not they're not really noteworthy players, but just interesting types of cards. So there's a exclusives that are 100 of Randy Robitaille. Not Luke Robitaille, unfortunately, Randy Robitaille. A couple of ice premieres, which is interesting, out of 1999. So Anthony Stewart has a broadcasting career now, and then David Leneuve, I'm not sure what he's up to. But then there's Alexei Yashin still in the wrapping from Post Serial. There's a green emerald of Dave Manson on the Jets. There's a nice SP Pavel Demitra. That's a rookie card. This one was kind of beat up, but Michael Backlund in the throwback from I think 2015. We got Barrett Jackman pre-rookie, former first overall pick. Ivan Miroshnichenko, the blue parallel or the spectrum. Is that what it's called? The blue spectrum from Skybox Metal Universe 23-24, so a recent card. There's Darren McCarty on the Emerald Prospects. We've got John LeClaire on the Players Club parallel. Jamie Langenbrunner, star rookie, Electric Ice parallel. This is an insert from of Jimmy Roy from the In the Game series. There's an artist proof of Radek Dvorak. This is a bronze parallel of Brian Boucher. These are the glove series of Kurt Joseph, the die cut Next Generation of Kari Lehtinen. This is a really neat card. Victoria Cougars from the Highliner, the fish stick making company. But it's the only card out there, the Victoria Cougars, who won the Stanley Cup in 24-25, 100 years ago. And then Roger Nielsen rookie cards. He was a staple in Ottawa, waving the towel. I remember a lot of rules in the rule book came from things he thought up of behind the bench. He's kind of an idol of mine, so I like hanging on to the Roger Nielsen rookie cards. We got 2 Pat Verbeeks from the Craft series, Russ Courtnall, Tony Granato, John Cullen, a cool silver border parallel of the Winnipeg Jets, and then 2 retros of Trocheck and Giroux from the o-pee-chee series. But just another just interesting pile of cards that I pulled aside. And then these ones, I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's a bunch of baseball, and then even a field hockey here of Bernie Boyer. But the 2 cool ones out of this is Cornelius playing hockey there, Kellogg's Cornelius. Nice mascot card. And then this one's really interesting. This is a second-year card of Thurman Munson. So for the hockey fans, he might not be a recognizable name, but when it came across in the pile, I was like, and it's really beat up, but I was like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? And he was a very prominent player for the New York Yankees. You can see here he won the All-Star rookie, or he was a rookie All-Star in his first year. I believe he won Rookie of the Year as well. But he tragically passed away in his 10th year of playing. He would fly his own planes, and he just made a mistake and crashed his plane in the middle of the season. And so I was reading all about how they commemorated him. They didn't introduce a catcher into the game. It was as soon as the first pitch was thrown that the backup catcher went and took the place. But just a pretty tragic story of a man losing his life in the middle of his career, and kind of a very prominent career as the captain of the New York Yankees and a dynasty Yankees team. But very interesting there. There was also this jumbo card of Korea Priority Donruss. I'm not too familiar with this. And on the back, there was a jumbo of Peter Forsberg in the Kramer's Choice Award Crown Royal card. Very neat, very interesting there. All that is to set up for this big pile here. I'm going to try and speed run through these. So every card here is of a Hall of Famer and in their rookie season or pre-rookie. Not a ton of them have a lot of value, but the junk wax era was kind of tough to find for those cards to hang on to their value, considering there's so much produced, but still so cool to add Hall of Famer rookie cards to the collection. So we'll speed run here through. We got 2 of the Daniel Alfredsons. We got 2 of the Pro Set Eddie Balfours. There's Upper Decks Eddie Balfour. We got a bunch of Rob Blakes. So there's 2 in the Super Rookie. There's 2 Score. I don't think any of those are the French versions. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of the Pro Set Rob Blake rookies there. Crazy in the 90s just how much they produced. There's some more Rob Blake here. We got Bowman. So 4 of the Bowmans there. We've got 1 of the o-pee-chee Premier. Very nice there. Star Rookies there, Upper Deck. Star Rookies, Upper Deck. There's Brodeur. And these aren't considered his rookie card, but up in the corner there you can see Fleer Ultra 93-94. It says rookie. I consider that a rookie. I put it in the pile. We got a couple Bures here. We got 3 from Pro Set there. We got 1 of the Prospect from Pro Set. There's him and his brother Valerie in the Bloodlines. That's a rookie card. Them in their rollerblades. Such a nice card. I like that one. Fedorov there in the score. Fedorov Pro Set. Fedorov in his Russia jersey. That's Upper Deck 91-92. And then there's Fedorov with Garpenlov for the Upper Deck 90-91. We got Fedosov here, 3 of the scores. We got Peter Forsberg in the Sweden World Junior Tournament, and there's him in his Philadelphia kind of. They weren't allowed to use the logo of his jersey, so it's all airbrushed out there. They didn't have the rights, that card company. Then we got some nice Hassiks here. So there's 3 of the Pro Set Hassiks. There's 1 of the Prospect Pro Set, and there's 1 of the top prospects from Score 91. Then we get into some more here. They're all in alphabetical order too. We got Hossa, we've got a Ginla, we've got Korea, we've got a bunch of Larionovs from Score. How many are there? 1, 2, 16 from Score. Then Pro Set and Upper Deck. We got Lidstrom here. These are great. Leader plus minus leader there, but all from his rookie year, and that's Premier Checklist for the Red Wings, but featuring Lidstrom. And then here's his o-pee-chee Premier 92 rookie card there. A bit more here of the Lidstrom. We've got his score in the blue there. Then there's the green behind that. And then the Pinnacle green. And there's another one, Pro Set Prospects there. There's his rookie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from Pro Set. We get into Lindros here. We've got Score 91. We've got o-pee-chee 93. We got Makarov in the tops. Makarov Bowman, Makarov Pro Set, Makarov Score, Makarov more Score, more Makarov Score, Makarov Upper Deck. And Makarov o-pee-chee, and there's him with the Soviet wings there in the o-pee-chee series as well. There's Mark Recchi Pro Set. There's a bunch here, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mark Recchi Score, tops, and then there's Roenick in the Pro Set. Roenick in the Score. We get into some Sedins here. There's SP Authentic of Henrik Sedin, and then there's Prospects 2000 in his Moto jersey from Upper Deck. That is Henrik as well, if I'm not mistaken. Where's the name? Yeah, Henrik. We get into Matt Sundin, 2 Pro Sets, and then a Score, and Super Rookie. Joe Thornton, there's a rookie there of Score. Joe Thornton, the Icebreakers. There's the ice. It's kind of die cut with the skate too from McDonald's. Yeah. Sergei Zubov, the blue chip prospect. 4 of those ones. And then we got some more Zubov here. He's really underrated, even though he's considered a Hall of Famer. I don't hear enough people talk about how good Zubov was in his heyday. But there he is with Central Army. There he is in the Classic All-Star. There's some more Roger Nielsen, Pat Burns. Nice to add those to the collection. More here, Bill McCreary in the referee cards. Andy Valhellemud. Then these ones aren't inducted in the Hall of Fame yet, but will be. We got Yager, 3 of the Pro Sets. We've got Patrick Marleau in the Icebreakers, 4 of them acetates. And I missed a stack here along the way, but here's Modano. There's a bunch of Modanos here. We got tops. We got 2 of the Score. We got 2 of the Pro Sets. A bunch more of the Score. 3 of that one. 7, 8 of that one. Pro Set McGillney. Score McGillney. Another Score McGillney. Niedermeyer Upper Deck. Niedermeyer Premier. Niedermeyer Young Guns there. Pretty neat that Young Guns was producing way back in 92. And there's 3, 4, 5 from Upper Deck. I don't know what year that is, but nice cards there. 2 of the Star Rookies, 2 from Classic. Another Classic there. That's with, let me try to guess, Arnott? No, Falloon, Pat Falloon. 4 of the Star Picks. Another pro set, more pro set here of Niedermeyer. Then we get into Chris Pronger. Here's all the upper decks. Chris Pronger battling it out with the Senators there in his Whalers jersey. 2 from Leaf and 1 from the top 10 93 Hockey Draft Classic in his Pete's uniform. So just what a haul. I am so pumped to add a bunch to the collection. We didn't even count the Gretzky's towards any of the value, any of the extra cards I get out of these big hauls that I don't throw in top loaders and put into my collection. I include it for free in a lot of parcels that I ship out on my eBay page, but for the most part it's just fun to add these to the collection, sort through them, see what cards were being produced in the 90s and the 2000s, and see what I was missing when I took breaks from collecting as a child. And even all the vintage stuff is some of my favorite to go through, so pretty nice to see a lot of the vintage that came out. If you did enjoy this, it helps me if you leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe. I'm hoping to do more stuff like this if people seem to enjoy it. It's fun to put this all together and sort through things, and I appreciate you following me along and enjoying the ride. As always, thanks a ton for tuning in, and take care.